I'm Marie Hopkinson. I'm a practitioner of Chinese medicine, and today I want to talk to you about mindfulness and what that is, how it can be useful for you. To be honest, when I first heard of mindfulness, it was probably 5 years ago maybe, it was starting to become a bit of a buzz thing, and there was momentum gathering around it, and it just seemed like woo-woo to me. And to be honest, to be really brutally honest, like when those types of things start to become buzz things, that just naturally turns me off that stuff. And because sometimes you just think, I don't want to just be part of another bandwagon. But mindfulness actually isn't that difficult to use, and I think it's becoming increasingly important for us as human beings to look after our mental health, just given the world that we live in. And that world that we live in with technology, that's not going away. People can take breaks from social media. They can try to go analog with their phone or something like that. And those are kind of extremes situations that may happen, or completely delete their social media profile or something like that. But for the majority of people, that we live in a world where that is just part of our world. It might be part of your job to be connected to that stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't have a problem with living like that. And as a business person, that is certainly part of business. And I think it's how you think about that, whether that stresses you out or not, is part of the stress of it. But one thing that is important is, do we let our minds shut off? Do we let our minds rest? Or are our minds just constantly going? And what are they going for? Are they going for a particular reason? Is there a purpose to that? And what I've found for myself, and I know this is true for a lot of people with social media and things like that, is that you find yourself checking things all the time just for the sake of checking it, just because that's what you're doing. And so you've literally it's the opposite of mindfulness, it's mindlessness, where you're literally pressing one button and pressing another button to open different apps on your phone, to check Instagram, check Facebook, check Snapchat, and then the cycle continues. You go back to the same one, or particularly out of like boredom, or out of we don't really know sometimes why we're doing those things. And that could be another conversation. But the practice of mindfulness can bring you back to the present moment in a very simple and quick way, and it can be useful for people in jobs where they need to focus their attention on the present moment. So mindfulness is not meditation, and it's not woo-woo. It's actually just learning techniques, and like mindfulness isn't one particular technique. There's tons of different things you can use. I'm just going to show you one quick and easy way now that you can use it in any situation. I use this with students that I teach at one of the college that I teach at mostly. They really promote the mindfulness, and they love using that as part of the classroom stuff. So using 5 minutes, 10 minutes of mindfulness before you start a class. Even doing a technique which is 3 minutes is really useful. I find it engages students a lot more quicker than if you didn't do that stuff. So what it does is it helps us to just connect to the present moment. So not the past, not the future, but just the present, what's happening now. And also what you're feeling in your body, and your mind and body, and that kind of connection. And the more we do that, the more we practice those things, the less likely you are to just be on autopilot. And when you're on autopilot, then you do things. Now, it might not be checking social media. I hope that you're not doing that. It might be just mindless eating. It might be smoking or drinking, or doing things that are habit-based things, which are just pretty much just filling a void, based on a void we're not even aware of because of that mindlessness aspect of things. So practicing mindfulness isn't going to solve all your problems, but it can actually help you just to practice being in the moment more often. So here's a quick little exercise you can do for yourself. Now, you might be listening to this and driving, or on the go, or something like that, and that's fine. You do not need to close your eyes. You can close your eyes if you want to close your eyes. So what I want you to do, just right where you are now, very, very, very quickly. This is not going to take a long time. Literally, it's going to take a couple of minutes. So just where you are now, place your feet firmly on the ground. So 2 feet on the ground. And just make yourself comfortable. So just give yourself a second. Turn your phone off, or don't, if you're listening to this video on the phone, then don't turn that off. But other distractions, so laptops and things like that. So closing your eyes can stop you from being connected with that stuff. So that may help you. You can close your eyes if you want to. If you're driving a car, please don't close your eyes. Just continue driving your car. So I want you to look around where you are and just pick 5 things you can see. So you're just simply naming those things. You're not judging those things. So what that means is, like, let's say I look around this room and I see an old suitcase, or I see some jars, I don't have to try to think, oh, that's an old jar, or that's a new jar, or gee, I need to replace those jars, or any sort of judgment or any sort of sentence or anything about them, or any kind of thing about them. Just looking and seeing what they are. So if you look around your room, you might see a desk, you might see a chair, you might see the floor, you might see a light. Another thing you can do is you can look around and name 5 different colours you could see. So you could say, I can see something red, I can see something blue, something brown, something purple, something orange, something white. What you can see. So it might be colours on yourself, it might be whatever you can see. So then the next thing is to think, what are 5 things I can hear? So this may be a little more tricky, depends on what you can hear. But what this does do is it brings your attention to things that are just happening all the time in our world, which we just simply drown out those sounds. So there's firstly the sound of my voice. Now I've tried to minimise the sounds to record this video, so I can't really hear a lot of ambient noise, but I can hear the odd car going past on the street. Let's give you a minute to kind of hear some sounds in your area. I can hear a little dog barking in the next door's yard. I can hear the sound of my own breathing. You might be able to hear the whirring sound of like an electronic device in your room or something like that. I could just hear a bird tweeting just then. So name 5 things you can see, 5 things you can hear, and then you can also use this with things like 5 things you can smell, and that may be good if you're especially if you're in an outdoors environment, if you're in a different environment. Going down the street, look, you can, if you're going for a walk or something, then that is very useful. So you might smell, the smell of something coming out of a cafe, you might smell the smell of grass, you might even just smell the smell of rain on the road, or rubber or something like that, or engines or something like that. So what those things do is that brings your attention into the present moment. And that's simply all it is. There's no breathing exercises, there's nothing like that. That is just one exercise of mindfulness. So if you're caught up in the day, and the stress is kind of building and building and building, sometimes mindfulness can be used just to basically just stop and just take 2 minutes and just come back to that present moment. Another exercise, now there's lots, you can just Google them, or YouTube, have a look on YouTube, there's more and more exercises. Other exercises that are good, especially if you feel a lot of anxiety or stress building up in your own body, are things where you focus on your body. So you might focus on your breathing. You might do a very quick breathing exercise, or the ones that are good, that are quick and simple, are like scanning your body from bottom to top or top to bottom, just noticing what you can feel. So I'll take you through another quick one of those. I'll pop the link down to that below, because I want to make this video nice and quick, and I'll see you again soon.